first, I'm thrilled to introduce Nicole Lashae. Nicole is the CEO of Thrive in Design, and she has over 10 years of experience in the interior design industry and is super passionate about helping product companies create a seamless customer journey, even in the absence of in-person interactions. Hi, Nicole.
Hello.
So great to have you. And next, I am super excited to say hello to Desha. Desha Elliott has a successful track record of consulting on business development, strategic partnerships, and digital marketing for both growth stage and established companies. Her current role at AOF as the local market manager bridges the community and corporate partnerships and resources for small business owners. Hi, Desha.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see folks in here.
I want to talk a little more about, like you're getting the data, you're getting the emails and the phone numbers. So how can a business owner use customer data and analytics to optimize the sales funnel? And Nicole, I'd love to start with you.
Really, you have to know what data is to start with and where to find it. It really depends. So I would say to first start aggregating the data, you have to make sure that all of your back end is set up, right? So there's tools like Google Analytics or Facebook Pixel, or there's other different tools that allow you to aggregate data from the website itself to understand who's visiting the site, what pages are they seeing, how long did they spend on that page, where in the world are they, right? So that's like the initial part of the data and understanding where people are coming from and if people are even hanging out on your website. And then there comes to be data in terms of like, all right, so you had 100 people visit your site. How many of those people actually added something to their cart and actually made a purchase, right? So that purchase would be your conversion rate. So if you had 100 people come to your site and then you only had 2 people purchase, then that means 2% of everybody that comes to your site is purchasing. So then you're able to, say, how can I increase that conversion rate? Or if you are okay with that 2% conversion rate, then how can I get more people to see my website in order to convert more customers? And then there's also data in terms of like your email marketing, like how many people did it go out to? What was the open rate? So that's how many people opened your email, how many people clicked, right? So you can look at data at each of the touch points from the back end of your website to the conversion rate of people who saw your website and actually purchased, to even the small minute details in terms of like your email marketing or your content that's going out there in that awareness stage as well.
2% seems like a really low number, but that's the number for if you know that your email campaign or whatever campaign is converting on standard and on par with like businesses overall. And you're like, 2%, that's so crazy. Why is it so small? But because literally you might have advertised to 100 people. I'm using small numbers just so we can keep up with the math, right? You might have advertised to 100 people. 50 people might have clicked on it. 30 people actually were like, yeah, I'll play around with a couple pages. But then it's like, who actually made the purchase? And the industry standard is like 1 to 2%. Folks actually followed all the way through. Now you're like, oh my goodness, what happened to everybody else? And that's where the magic happens. That's where the opportunity is to really learn and say, okay, am I using the right type of language to attract people based on their pain points or what their needs? Am I using color schemes or videos or, what marketing method are we using even before they even get to the website to then get them to stay on it? And then once they're on it, do you have some of the pop-ups or the right type of products that they need? Do you have reminders when people leave the cart? Again, these things all add to that conversion rate. Or, you can literally just look at all the tools that come with, your social media or even your website and say, okay, let's see how this worked out so far. And, the reality is you'll start to understand how much you're spending or how much time you're spending to get that 1 to 2%. And then you'll be able to understand how much that it's called customer acquisition cost. How much does it cost you, right, to even get that customer? And then once you get them, what are you on? What on average are they spending? Are they spending $100? And when they return, what is it, that they're doing when they return? And all of that will go back to the sales. It'll go back to you understanding your direct costs and even what you're doing.
I think it comes to forgetting that people could leave your website, right? So you, like I said earlier, you need to think of, if this person comes to my website, what are all the possibilities that they could do, and how can I capture their information and get them to come back? Because I know I'm a busy entrepreneur, I'm a mom. Sometimes I'll land on the website and my kid is throwing a toy down the steps, so I forget to make a purchase. So you have to think about the everyday person. So what I mean by that is, like, when somebody comes to your e-commerce platform, do you have a pop-up window that immediately comes within 1 to 2 seconds of that person being on that website? What is the incentive for them to put their email address into that pop-up window, right? So are you giving a discount? Are you giving access to a quiz for them to discover which type of product is good for them from your product line? Are you, I saw a funnel the other day where I put in my email address for 10% off. And then after that, they asked me for my phone number for additional 5% off, right? So you get 2 modes of connection with that customer through email marketing and text message marketing. And text message is even better because your open rates are going to be over 80% for people receiving text message marketing for your company, right? So that's initial. And then from there, okay, you got their information. So now what is it that you do for the next step, right? What is in your email marketing campaigns to inform them about who you are, what you do, why you're different, and then give them a call to action to come back to your website. And the same thing in those text message threads. And then on your product, on your website and then on your product pages in general, are you talking about the pain points that they're experiencing and how your product actually solves those pain points? A lot of times entrepreneurs will come up with different products or what have you on e-commerce, and they're like, look at this lotion, it makes you not ashy or whatever, right? But there's probably pain points that those people are experiencing that you can talk to in your messaging, right? So like, are you experiencing flaky skin? Is it uncomfortable for you to get through the day of your work, with constantly scratching? Like, are you embarrassed by your ashy knuckles, right? I'm just making this example off the top of my head. But the point is like, is your messaging on your website and on your product pages really landing with those pain points and showing how your product is a solution for that, right? And then they are going to come up with that. Next thing is like your reviews, right? So if you have product reviews, make sure those reviews are incorporated in your website. And then lastly, you want to make sure you have an abandoned cart sequence. So that is, if somebody is coming to your website and there's something to their cart and then they don't purchase right away, you have a sequence set up to say, hey, you left something in your cart, come back, right? I don't know if you guys have shopped anywhere, you're like, oh, I got this email, and then you click on that email, you get back to the cart. It could be pain points on your product development. It could be pain points based on your actual sales funnel. I always like to advise people to really do some competitive research. As Desha mentioned earlier, like looking at, she mentioned a general sense of like looking at Target or Nike or wherever you shop, but identify who are your 3 to 5 competitors in your market and how are they speaking to the pain points of your customers. Are they speaking to similar pain points? Are they speaking to different pain points? Do they have similar messaging as what you thought would be great, or don't they? So I think in really understanding your competitors and how they are reaching your target audience, that's one. And then 2 is really just like talking to your customers, right? A lot of times entrepreneurs will be like, they'll come up with these ideas or whatever their product is or whatever their service is based on what they think their customers need. And that is also tied to the strategy that they use to put it to market, right? So instead of assuming what your customers need in the product or the strategy, the sales funnel, whatever, ask them, like, what would you like? What are you experiencing? What worked well for you? What landed well for you? What made you buy this product, right? And that will give you a lot of guidance. And I know that sounds really simple, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't actually talk to their customers before putting something to market.
Something you may not know right before we drop into our live Q&A is that both Desha and Nicole are part of the AOF Coaching Hub. And that means that they provide coaching sessions for clients, for business owners who are looking for different kinds of resources. We have a team of multiple business coaches. All the coaching sessions are free. I just dropped the link in the chat. You can go there and you can select what you'd like help with. There are different categories, including a category like this. So there's a good chance that you'll be able to connect with maybe Desha or Nicole or one of our other coaches that can help you with that.